Alrighty, welcome back, guys. So, back out at the range, and we're going to do our seating depth test now for the 300 short mag, shooting 208 grain aim maxes with 62.5 grains of Winchester stay ball. So, I'm using an OCW target for this. It'll work really well. You can use any other target too, as long as you have very refined aim points, so that way you can record your impacts. And what I'm looking for is groups starting to go down in size based on the seating depth. So as soon as I start to see groups get smaller as I shoot these different seating depths, then I'll know that's my harmonic node. Seating depth does with groupings and harmonics. So this step has to be taken. Well, it doesn't have to, but if you want really accurate and precise ammunition, this is vital. It helps a lot as your throat erodes in your barrel. You can stay in that node for seating depth. You're not chasing stuff. Eric Cortina explains this. This is why I follow it. It's worked well. If I had a tuner brake or a tuner on this rifle, I would just use the tuner. I wouldn't do this. But since I don't, this is the step I'm going to take. So we will start sending down range. I'm going to get set up. I'm going to get the phone scope on the spotting scope, and we're going to get started. All right, about ready to start shooting. The first group I'm going to shoot, it's going to be middle, top row, and the base to ogive measurement is 2.211 inches. See how this does. Yeah, not too impressed with that. Now for this testing, I'm not shooting prone, I'm shooting off the bench, and I have a real stable shooting position, no movement, very solid, so I know a lot of this is not me. I have little movement, little wobble, so we'll let the gun cool down for a minute or two. Being I have a suppressor on it now, so I have to take that into consideration when the heat turns up on it. So, all right, we'll be back shortly. Then we'll go to the next group. All right, wait about 4 minutes. Let it cool down some. Suppressor's still warm. It's hard to get it ice cold, but I don't want to get it too hot. So this next group is going to be with the base to ogive measurement at 2.208 inches, and it'll be top right. was something. Um, Last one was not me, so that might not be the stable spot yet for the seating depth. I know that last one was not me, so I'm not going to try and justify it because I know when I pulled the trigger it was the same as the others. So let it cool down again. We might be starting to come into the node now, it seems. So we'll see how these other ones go. Yeah, I don't have any doubt on that shot. That was a clean break on that last one. So, all right, we're gonna let it cool down for a few. Be back. All right, next three. It's gonna be 2.205 inches base to ogive measurement. This will be bottom left corner, the bottom left diamond. All right. That actually makes me feel good. I'll explain why. So, that was not a stable node in the top right. This is one of the anomalies or results that you can see when doing this test. So, let's say that third shot wasn't high on that top right target and it was in with those other two. It is very, very, very common to see a small group, very tiny, in between two large ones, which are definitely not the node. So you can't let that fool you. That's why you have to go off of having consecutive groups that are small. So these shots were all good, nothing different. So that's all right. I'm not mad about that at all. People should not get frustrated. That's why you have to call your shots, especially when you shoot. You pay attention. You know where the reticle was when you broke it. You know how the trigger press was. You have to kind of get into that habit of like, okay, that was a good shot in that split second before you get your second sight picture where your reticle goes back on the target and you can see the results of your shot. So you have to get into that habit so that way you already know it was a good shot, so it doesn't cloud your judgment and you don't try to justify the results on the target, because that will happen a lot. People will bang their head off the wall trying to figure out, oh, was that it? That's why I was like, well, okay, because I knew it was a good shot. I knew I broke it clean. I knew that for a fact. I had no concerns about it at all. So that's why I said, let me see if maybe this next group is bigger or not. because one of two things can happen. Either that was just the start of the node, or it was that weird phenomenon where it's a very small group in between your seating depths of a good harmonic node. Turns out it was one of those weird phenomenons. I will not be shooting any groupings with that measurement like the top right group had at, I believe it was 2.208 inches, because that is very unstable. Very unstable. Because what will happen is down the road, it won't take long, maybe 100 shots, and you'll get out of um, that node and you'll move to a shitty spot, which is what just happened. All right, time for the next one. It'll be 2.202 inches base ogive. All right, let the barrel cool down. If there's some wind noise, I do apologize. Like I said, I'm still doing this off my phone until I get better equipment as I progressively continue doing this. So the next group, like I said, is 2.202 inches base to ogive. And we'll see how this one does now. Okay, a little sticky there. Alright, how'd that one do? Okay. Alrighty, so that one, starting to do the same thing as the others. Bolt lift keeps getting a little heavy. Because it's very hot out. So that first shot obviously went high left. And the last two were next to each other. So I might be going into the node. We'll see how this next one does. Give it a little bit for the gun to cool down. This is the tedious part about load development, especially with a suppressor. I'll say it again. They get hot really fast, especially with a Magnum. You don't want to do more than 3 shots in a row, because it gets pretty hot even after my third shot. And not only that, too, it is a hot day out. It's over 90 degrees. So these loads are hotter than, well, they're pretty warm. But that's also why you load in your velocity node in that window where the velocity doesn't spread from charge to charge over a certain period, because you have to account for the hot days too. And you also need to keep in mind, based on where you live and how often you shoot, I shoot all year round, hot weather, cold weather, below freezing, all that. So I need some very temp stable powder. The 6.5 Stay-Ball is very temp stable. I still get a slight click at the top of the bolt. A lot of that has to do with the heat, but also too, it's about time to clean the gun. I don't have that many rounds down the barrel since my last cleaning of it, My last clean was, I think, about 40 rounds ago. 50, actually, no. About 60 rounds. So about every 70, no more than 100 rounds, I clean the rifle, clean the barrel, get all that carbon out, which helps a lot. So let it cool down again. The wind's picking up. Maybe that might help cool it off. Be right back. Alright, we'll shoot this last group now. Rifle's warm. It's not really hot. Barrel's not that hot to the touch with a suppressor. This last one's going to be 2.199 inches base to ogive, and see what she does. Okay. Well, not too bad. These were all good breaks, good follow through. So I might be going into a node. I had a feeling that might happen. It's always a possibility. So I'll go grab the target and we'll go ahead and look over it together. Alrighty, back from grabbing the target at the 100-yard line. Alright, here's the results. So we have 2.211 inches. That's, for what I'm doing and what my standards are, that's not going to happen. Then went to 2.208 inches. First two shots, stacked. Third one, flew out. That's why I was like, okay, I knew this was a good shot that I broke. Let's see how this next group goes. The next one was 2.205 inches, and yeah, it was big. Now, if this was really tight, like this, with 3 shots, then I would know, okay, this was just on the outside of the node. I need to slightly set my seating depth a little bit more, maybe 2.207 inches. That's if this one turned out really well. That's how you know if it's right on the edge of the node, this can happen. But like I said, this happens a lot where you have a really tight group and maybe one flyer, and then all of a sudden goes back to a bigger group. When one of them is in between 2 big groups, it is not a good one. You never do that. You want at least 2 in a row. Next group, 2.202 inches. And this was actually the first shot. And then these were the following 2. So I thought, okay, either that's going to be the same thing as this, or it's starting to get into a node. Then we went 2.199 inches and did these 3 shots. That is just over an inch. My ultimate goal is consistently half inch. Half inch. So, based on this, I think this is starting to go into a node. Some node. Because these two groups look like they're about just over an inch. About an inch. So, we're starting to get into a node. It might go smaller, and then it might go bigger, and then it might go really small to another node. It's like a wavelength. So that's the result for now. I'm not going to be using any of these seating depths. Will not, because that is not going to work for me with what I'm trying to do. Like I said, with long range precision and long range hunting, I want the most consistent and accurate ammo I can get out of this rifle. So what'll be going on is I will continue the seating depth test. So now I will continue seating it deeper. I will go 2.196 inches. I'll probably do 5 more groups, so 15 more rounds to see. I just wanted to do these 5 groups because I didn't want to load up a bunch of ammunition and then have to pull bullets, because I find a node really quick and now the other ones won't work, or they would work, but for saving components and stuff like that. This is just what happens. This is just one of those things. It happens. So, and as you can tell, I don't know how the video quality is. I'll probably listen to it once I upload it. Yes, there is wind. There's a breeze. It's not much, probably about 4 or 5 miles an hour. So video quality, yeah, you'll have wind noise. But also too, I want to hear how this suppressor sounds on video. Video still will not do it justice. This thing is so quiet. Love it. I just want to get the ammunition running well. I want the hand loads to work well, like with my tuner brake. So we'll see. I'm pretty confident I'll probably have better results in the next one. So we shall see. That's why I decided to do this from the bench and make this a very rock solid, stable platform, especially for the groupings. I personally like shooting prone. It's the most stable position, but bench, as long as you set it up right, it's very stable. So that's it for now. And as you can see, that's the process in the seating depth test. These were all with 62.5 grains of 6.5 stay ball, and same point of aim, center diamond, and you will see the groupings get bigger, smaller, bigger. So we're probably still on the bigger half of the node. So my guess is probably within the next, I want to say within the next 2 different seating depths, we'll see a change. We'll see it probably get smaller, or it might get bigger. But right now we're in some type of a node because it is the same grouping. So it's some type of a node. You have bigger nodes. You have bigger nodes where it's bigger groups, and then you have the small groups, which are in another node. It's a wavelength, but we want it to be consistent, just like our velocity test with the powder. We want it to stay in a flat spot. So that's what we're really looking for, is a flat spot in the seating depth where it's consistent. It's the same concept. So some of these flat spots are higher for group size. We want the ones for the small consecutive group size. I want at least two groups in a row where it is small groups. My goal is I want all the impacts touching. I want them touching. So I'll take measurements. I'm gonna write them down, keep them as information for all my loads. Another thing too, once this is done, we'll go back to testing powder around that node around 62.5 grains. So from 62.1 to 63 we saw a flat spot. We will revisit that once we find our seeding depth. Then we'll test and make sure we're still in that node, and then do some confirmation at distance, and it'll be done. So this is the process of it. Some people are able to get it done a lot quicker. Me, I tend to take my time with it, but I'm kind of having to put a little more time into it because we got elk season right around the corner, middle of September, and I need to get this dialed in. I still have to find the seeding depth, confirm my powder charge, and then confirm at distance my velocity and my BC, and then it'll be done. So I still have that to do. So it takes a little bit of work. So I'll leave you with that. Hopefully it was a good video. Like I said, I wanted to try getting more of this spotting scope footage and actual showing of what I'm looking at downrange, what the process is, and how I do some of these things. So as you can see, it's not hard, it's not bad. Hopefully get some better data. So we shall see. So I might go back out again tomorrow, might not. All depends on what I can get done for brass prep. I have to go through and anneal it, clean it, all that fun stuff. So I'll probably do that when I go home, and then so on and so forth. You want to still be consistent. You can't skip steps, because if you skip steps, you won't have consistency. So, alrighty. So until next time, shoot straight, shoot safe, have fun. I'll catch you next time.